Have you ever wanted to introduce your kids to some of the great composers, but you weren't sure where to start? Today, I'm going to show you a simple 5-step planning process for you to plan your own composer unit study. And this works great with any composer and for any grade level. Hi, I'm Leanne, a homeschool mom of 2 kiddos and a music educator, and I help families bring music into their homeschools in simple and joyful ways. So if that sounds helpful to you, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more music tips like this one. The first step in creating your own unit study is probably the most obvious one. Go ahead and choose which composer you would like to study. Now, I know it can be tempting to just jump right to some of those big names, but I do want to say there are so many other great composers out there besides just the Beethovens and Mozarts of the world. Here are a few things to consider when choosing a composer to study. First, think about your child's current interest. Do they really love animals? They might enjoy listening to someone like Camille Saint-Saëns, who wrote The Carnival of the Animals. Or is your kid really into watching movies? Let me tell you, John Williams has written famous music for so many big motion pictures. You might consider finding a composer that fits into a certain time period you're studying in your history course, or do one of my favorite things, which is to pair a composer along with an artist that lived during that same time period. Finally, you could think about choosing a composer that fits with a certain season of the year. For example, you might want to study Tchaikovsky during the winter so you can listen to the Nutcracker. Once you've decided who you're going to study, the next step is to gather a list of resources. These could include things like books from the library, websites with biographies about that person, audio recordings, even educational videos from YouTube would be great. Now, I will say we are blessed to be living in a time where we have so many resources available to us, but I know sometimes the amount of information can become very overwhelming. So I would encourage you to start out making a really long list of possible resources and then just start paring it down to what you think will actually fit your family's needs and interests. Step 3 is to research possible activities that you could do while studying this composer. Now, besides just the obvious things like reading about that person's life and listening to different pieces, let me offer you a few suggestions that I think will work well for different age groups. Younger kids can do things like coloring pages, listening to just short excerpts from a longer piece, and then discussing what they heard. So guided listening questions are great for that type of thing. Also, make sure that our young ones are getting lots of chances to move their bodies to the music that they hear. Now, for older kids, possible activities might be making a timeline of that composer's life, having them compare and contrast 2 different pieces that they've heard. And here's my favorite one. Have your older kids imagine if they met the composer in real life and they were able to interview that person, have them write out a script of some of the questions that they might want to ask, and then you can go back and forth and act it out with them. In the next step, you're going to map out a schedule for your composer unit study. So this is really where you can personalize it and decide how long do I want to spend on this in my homeschool. Let me tell you, even just doing something for 10 to 15 minutes a day can be really effective and still get our kids excited about this topic. Let me provide you with a sample schedule if you were to do a week-long unit study of your composer. So on day 1, you could introduce this person through a storybook and possibly a short listening piece. On day 2, you could focus in on a particular instrument or genre that person wrote for. On day 3, include something creative like a movement or an art activity. On day 4, give your kids some more independent research to do about that person's life and possibly include some writing in there as well. On day 5, you could all watch a concert of that person's music or some type of live performance, followed by some reflection. Step number 5 is to choose a final project so your kids can show what they've learned about the composer. And really, the sky is the limit here, right? Based on whatever your kids' interests are or what your family likes to do. So it could be anything like making a poster about that person or even a slideshow, include some different pictures and music clips. Your kids could make a lap book They could, again, do a pretend interview like I mentioned earlier. You could even get the whole family involved. If you guys want to put on a pretend mini concert, you could give different family members opportunities to stand up and practice conducting the different pieces written by this composer. I do want to emphasize it doesn't have to be something really big. It's just a creative chance for your kids to show off what they've learned about their composer. So let's review the 5 steps in our unit study planning process. Number 1, choose a composer. Number 2, gather a list of resources. Number 3, research different activities. Number 4, map out a schedule. And number 5, choose a final project. Within this framework, you can make music study fit your family's homeschooling style, and you'll have a collection of beautiful experiences with your kids. If you'd like ready-made units that save you time on planning, please check out my Morning Basket Music curriculum linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy music making!